Hey everyone, I just wanted to welcome you here today. It is fun. We have been getting together like this on Zoom with our team, our Rodian and Fields team, and I'm admitting people as I go here. So if you see me clicking, that's what I'm doing. But we've been doing these in the evenings, but we haven't really had time to do it in the middle of the day. So I'm assuming you guys are joining with a drink or lunch as you are going about your work day. I hope this is a fun break for you in the middle of your work day or from kid pickup or whatever it is that you're doing. What we wanted to do today is just to give you sort of an insider's peek into the lives of several women who have actually been Radiant and Fields consultants. And I know whenever I got started, I've been doing this about 5 years now. One thing that I was super, super curious about is what kind of real people are actually doing this and how does it work? You know, I can read stuff all day long, you can send me posts and I can look at facts, but I want to talk to someone who really is being a consultant and know how it actually blends into their day-to-day life and whether it actually is a good fit for me. I can look at what they're doing and go, okay, this actually might be something that I would consider. So we want to show you sort of a sneak peek into 4 people's lives who have been doing Radiant and Fields for just a little bit of time. The other thing we want to tell you about that's totally new news for the company, for Rodian and Fields, is that we have a brand new consultant enrollment path. So you can sign up in a whole new way that is worlds easier than it has ever been and more loaded with bonuses and perks for people who are signing up as consultants. So we'll hit that at the very end, but first we're going to get started and I'm going to toss it over to Stephanie and she'll be the first one to share a little bit with you about her story with Rodian and Fields. Go ahead, Steph.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Iwanaga, and I'm currently in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I first heard about Rodan and Fields. It was probably 8 years ago when I was a missionary living in Cambodia, serving in anti-trafficking. So of all places, I heard about it halfway across the world. My boss ended up getting gifted some of the regimens, and she told me about the products, and I was not interested. I never used skincare, was not interested in using or selling it. However, the opportunity of Rodan and Fields kept coming up year after year. People that I knew were selling it and using it, and it was just kind of in the background. And then 4 years ago, my husband, of all people, if you knew my husband, so of all people, he comes home one day and after work, he told me he noticed his coworker's results and was like, your skin looks great. Like, are you using something, And she told him all about Rodan and Fields. So he comes home, he's like telling me I should use and sell the products. And I said, I already know about Rodan and Fields, and no, I am not going to do this. However, his persistence year after year, he would kind of gently nudge me. It paid off. So last November, I decided to prove him wrong. I was like, okay, because I'm a natural skeptic. I was like, I don't know that these products are even going to work on me. But I was like, he keeps bugging me and I keep hearing about this. And so I knew that there was a 60-day money back guarantee on the products as well as the business. So I was like, there's zero risk. So I'm like, okay, I'll dive in. I'll prove him wrong. So I started using the products and started loving them. I didn't end up proving my husband wrong. I proved myself wrong. And I can laugh about it today because it's so true. I absolutely love the products. I used to have really oily skin and big, large pores. And so I was prone to breakouts. And no longer do I have any of those issues. My skin texture has changed. It's a lot softer. My pores have been minimized. I don't have super oily, like shiny skin anymore. And I realized like I should have known better because the doctors that created or started Rodan and Fields are the doctors who created Proactive back in the day. And they've been in skincare industry for 3 decades. And so they still practice to this day, have their own offices and to this day are still seeing their own clients. So it shouldn't have been a surprise that these products work. And last weekend, just a couple days ago, we had our annual convention and one of the statistics I heard just kind of blew me away, that the anti-aging skincare industry in the US is a $4.4 billion industry. And Rodan & Fields has been the #1 skincare industry in North America for the past 4 years in a row. And so like the new products that just launched, which are anti-aging, they've upgraded our anti-aging products. They already, yesterday it just came out, they're in 3 beauty magazines, and this just launched like 5 days ago. So this company is like blowing me away. They're so creative and innovative, and they plan to be the #1 skincare in every country they enter. So they don't just go into like 10 new countries a year. They strategically plan and go into new countries with the intent of being the #1 skincare in every market they enter. And I love that because, again, I'm missions minded. I have lots of connections all over the world in many different countries. And I love the thoughtfulness, the strategy that goes into that. And I used to work retail my whole life. And so the trajectory when retail and when you're working with products, they predict trends years in advance. And so the products that literally just came out this past week, who have already been in beauty blogs and beauty magazines, they started creating those 5 years ago. So it's all just so mind-blowing to me. As you can see, I was a natural skeptic. I was not interested, and now I'm like a totally different person, and I love everything about Rodan & Fields. And what I love so much about this business is that I can create my own, like it's my own business within this company, and I'm able to give back to missions. Like my paycheck that I receive each month, I'm able to give straight back into missions, because I actually recently went back into full-time ministry, working with the same anti-trafficking organization that I first worked with when I heard about Rodan & Fields. So talk about God like bringing it around full circle. It's crazy. But I've gained an amazing community. So the women that you're hearing from today, like they're on my team, and they are the sweetest, most knowledgeable, genuine group of women I've ever worked alongside of. And I'm so blessed. The fact that I can work my own hours, I'm in my house right now, there's time freedom, flexibility, that's everything. One of my favorite memories of working my business is literally from last month. I was on a weekend getaway for my anniversary with my husband, and we were watching sunset on the top of these sand dunes here in Oklahoma in the middle of nowhere. And I got a text message from a friend who was ready. She's like, okay, I'm ready. I want to try some products. Can you help me? So I called her right then and there. I luckily had service. I walked her through step by step how to purchase the specific products she was wanting. And I just gave her my customer service from the middle of nowhere. 5 minutes later, I went back to enjoying the sunset with my husband. And in that moment, I was like, I thanked God. And I was so grateful that this business doesn't take away time from my family, but it encourages me to be with my family. Like I said, I've worked retail my whole life, and I've worked long hours. The schedules are so crazy. Like my husband and I were on complete opposite schedules, and now I'm able to be around him and my family. And I heard a quote, I'm going to end with this. So I heard a quote that said, people don't get into this business because they have time. They get into it because they want time. And I'm always busy. I've always been busy. I've always worked multiple jobs. I'll always be busy. That's just kind of how I operate and how life around me is. But if I ever used busyness as an excuse when an opportunity presented itself, I would never know the gift and the beauty that's on the other side. And for that, I'm so grateful that I begrudgingly said yes at the time I did, because this is all like far more than I would have ever imagined. So.
That's awesome, Steph. And we are all so happy that you proved yourself wrong instead of proving your husband wrong. So yay. All right, we're going to toss it over to Gabi in Stillwater, Oklahoma now. Gabi, are you with us?
I am. I'm here. I'm actually in my car. So this will kind of help show the flexibility of this business. I'm actually at work, but I took a quick lunch break so I could hop in my car and talk to you fine people today. So like Cindy said, my name is Gabi Martin, and I've been a consultant for 5 years. And somebody said this the other day, and I'm stealing it from him. I was a never girl. Never in a million years did I think I would be doing this business. And when Donnell approached me, I was like, nope, I'll buy the products, but I am not a salesperson. I am an introvert. I am not doing this. And my biggest regret is not having said yes sooner, which I think you'll find is a common theme through our team and pretty much all teams. My why of why I finally said yes, I didn't know what I needed. I just knew I needed something. And my biggest concern was my skin. I have extremely sensitive skin, and I had tried everything across the board, from high-end department store skincare to drugstore skincare to prescription, and nothing worked. If it relieved one issue, it caused another. And so by the age of 40, I was pretty frustrated. And I thought, how is it that I'm middle-aged and I still have breakouts and I still have sensitive skin? Like, when is this ever going to stop? And that's when a friend introduced me to one of our product lines, Soothe, which is intended for sensitive skin and for irritation and redness. And lo and behold, it after about 2 or 3 weeks, I started to see a difference, and I could not believe it. So my initial yes was, okay, fine, I'll do this, but I'm only doing it because I want the biggest discount, so I can afford the product. And that's it. I'm not selling it. I'm not talking about it. No. And so that was my first why. And then quickly I began to realize people were noticing my skin. And so I would tell them, I was like, well, I'm using these products. If you want to know more, let me know. And I was unaware at the time, but what I was doing is I was sharing. And that is the key in this business, is we just share what we like, just like we would anything else, a restaurant, a business, a clothing store, whatever. And we tell other people about it. Well, that's essentially what we're doing here. We're not trying to sell anything. The second thing was I needed it to be flexible, because I used to work a full-time job, and I worked anywhere upwards of 60 to 80 hours a week. And I worked in a city that's an hour away from Stillwater. So I was almost never home. And when I was only at home to put my son to bed and to maybe get a hug in the morning before I left for work. But most times he was still sleeping. And I finally reached a point where enough was enough. But then we realized all of the financial burden laid on my husband, and that wasn't fair. And I just needed some avenue to be able to help. But I wasn't willing to give up the time that I suddenly had with my son. And so I needed it to be flexible, and I needed it to provide extra income. So then I thought, okay, fine. I'll start working this business for more than just to pay for my skincare. And pretty quickly, I realized that there's a community that I didn't even know I needed. So this has become a much greater why than I ever anticipated. It has changed my family's life in that I'm still there. I'm still able to take care of the house, take care of the bills, take care of my son, and provide a little bit of financial relief to my husband. And as far as why now, like Cindy mentioned, we now have this flat fee across the board. If that had been available from the beginning, like, I can't imagine how much I would have been able to grow my business. And to be able to customize and build your own portfolio and work the business how you see fit, like taking it on a lunch break in your car at your other job. Just the possibilities are endless. And so I would just say, if I was giving myself advice, I would say, before saying no, be sure you know what you're saying no to. and talk to the consultant that invited you and ask the questions, ask the hard questions, because that's what we're here for. And we'll be honest. And yeah, we hope you join our team.
Gabi, that's awesome. Thank you for your great advice. That is so helpful to all of us. And I'm going to go ahead and toss it now over to Brittany. Brittany, we're ready to hear from you. So far we've been in Oklahoma. Now we're tossing it over to Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm joining you an hour later on the clock than you guys, which ironically is one of the things that drew me to this business. So like Cindy said, my name is Brittany Arcand, and I'm currently located in Eastern Tennessee. I have since moved. When I started this business, I actually lived in South Carolina, and the fact that it was portable was extremely appealing to me. But one of the reasons that I had gotten started, my husband, he's a nuclear engineer, he had just lost his job. And while money wasn't an issue, it suddenly kind of shook our world that the unexpected happens, and everything was just kind of tumbling out of control. We had to leave a dream house we just built. Our kids were settled. We had to move again. And I needed something that I could control, something that I was in charge of, something that that was just for me. And, you know, MLMs have just not been, I mean, you hear it said over and over again. I didn't want to be that girl. And when I heard about Rodan and Fields initially, I just wanted to jump on as a customer, because I had never been taking care of my skin. I hadn't been taught really to do that when I was younger. And so I'd just been using whatever I could find that was on sale and that I probably had a coupon for, because I can be kind of cheap. And I thought maybe I should actually use like grown-up products and stuff, like an actual adult. And a friend of mine had joined, and she was the last person in the world that I thought would do something like this, you know, something like this online business. And I very quickly realized that it was just very different than everything I had actually thought that it was. Since I started using the products, my skin has changed very much. I suffer from adult acne. Thank you, pregnancy hormones that never seemed to go away and settle back down again. And I was in my late 30s at the time, you know, going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm dealing with, you know, zits and breakouts and redness. And I'm not a makeup person, and I did not want to have to constantly cover my face with makeup. So I was thrilled when I found something that worked exactly the way it said that it was going to, that I didn't have to think about. I could just use and move on with my life. And because it did exactly what it said it was going to, then my skin cleared up, and I went, oh, well, now I don't even have to wear makeup. That's score, because that just wasn't a normal daily thing. Getting up and putting that on wasn't a thing for me. Although now, because my skin is so nice and my eyelashes are so much longer, with Lash Boost, I find myself putting on mascara, maybe a little bit of, you know, tinted chapstick on a regular basis. But so my skin had definitely changed, and my confidence had definitely changed. I think I had sort of forgotten that I could do hard things. I forgot that I could, you know, be something other than just a mom, something other than just a wife, and that, you know, that I could be my own boss. When I first started working with RNF, my son, he's 8 now, but he was about 5 at the time, and somebody asked him what I was doing, and he goes, oh, she's the president of Rodan and Fields. And I said, oh, don't tell people that. I'm not no, I'm not the president of Rodan and Fields. And then when I was talking to them, I realized, well, I'm kind of the president of my own little Rodan and Fields company. And I started explaining to that person that I'm in charge of it. I get resources, I get training, and I kind of do it on my own time. And that was a big switch for me, realizing that, you know, I'm a pretty important person in my business. And I'm just really, really excited also. Just for now, I'm excited for the way the company is going. One of the things that I always hated about other, you know, or not hated, but, you know, turned me off of other businesses that were something that you could just do from your home. Oh, did I lose you? Did I lose you? There we go. Was that it was all a kind of a fad. And one of the first things I realized with this is that everybody has skin. Everybody's going to need to wash their face. And it is the longevity of this company and the future of this company is something that I was not expecting to be so invested in. And that was going to mean so much to me, that I was going to be part of a company that, that really cared about its consultants as much that it does, and that I would end up being reluctantly part of a community that cared about its consultants just as much as they do themselves and everybody's business. And I really think that is just this company holds to a gold standard, and I think that the community does as well, which is very exciting about joining right now. I feel like everything's just taking off all over again.
So good, Brittany. I think we're all pretty excited, and you can hear it in our voices. And we're going to tell you one more story. I'm going to toss it over to Leann in Kansas, and she's going to share with us. And then we'll wrap up before the end of our 30 minutes, just hitting kind of what it looks like to join as a consultant now, which is, again, a super simple process with a lot of perks. So Leann, you can take it away now. Thank you, Brittany.
Hey, everyone. Such an honor to be with you today. My journey with Rodan & Fields started in 2016. My husband and I had lived in Stillwater, Oklahoma for almost 10 years, and there are a lot of Stillwater girls on this team. And the sad thing is, I didn't know a lot of them before I moved to Kansas, but that's just the beautiful thing about Rodan & Fields. So my dear friend Donnell, was just a part of my life. We were good friends. We sat in the coffee shop and she shared with me about Rodan & Fields. I signed up as a preferred customer, had started using the product. And you have to understand, I was a Neutrogena white girl. That was it, in my 50s. So, I didn't even realize that my sun damage was sun damage, like it just was something that hadn't crossed my mind. So anyway, I started using the product, and my husband changed jobs, and it was just like overnight, I became this empty nester. Everything happened super fast. I had a couple kids still living at home going to college, and we had to find them apartments. We had to buy a house in Kansas. We had to sell our house in Oklahoma. And so life was really busy there for a moment, and then got settled in, and then it was kind of like, what am I going to do now? I didn't really have a peace in my heart about going back to work. I didn't know what was coming ahead, but my mom at that time was 90, and she was in Canada. And there was something about just having that urgency in my heart to be able to have that freedom where I could hop on a plane and be with her if I needed to be. And also my kids. That was hard on me, just to leave them in one day, And so I wanted the freedom just to be able to go and see them when I needed to. And it was my husband too. Brad said to me one day, he's like, honey, have you thought about Rodan & Fields? I'm like, yeah, no, not going to do it. Mostly because of my own insecurities. Because I don't know about you, but I think we all have there are these little triggers in our life where we think, oh, I'm watching them. I could never do that. I could never do a video on social media. I didn't even know how to take a selfie when I started this. But here's the most important and the most beautiful thing to me is that from the doctors down, this is a relationship-based business. It's a relationship-based business. And I have developed and gotten to know some of the most amazing women in my life. And if there's anything that this business has done for me, it's reminded me of all the amazing people that I've had walking in and out of my life. And just to reignite those relationships and to empower and just help women see who God created them to be. Because I really believe that our faces, that's where our confidence comes. If you're feeling confident in your skin, then your shoulders go back and you're like, okay, maybe I could do this. Maybe I'll give it a try. And I think another really important thing when you're thinking about this business is that it takes all kinds of people. It takes every personality. And that's what's beautiful about being a part of this team, is that we all bring a different piece of that uniqueness that we are. So you don't have to be like everybody else. But it takes a while to get to that place where you can embrace who you are and you can walk in this business with that confidence that I think we all have. Sometimes it just takes us a little while to figure that out. But I also know that if you have any questions, if you're struggling to know, how do I do something? There isn't one person on this team that would not be willing to help you. And I think that what we have is not common. We get to work with some of the most amazing people in our lives, some of the most supportive, the most understanding, the most compassionate and caring. You know, when in 2018, I got the phone call that I needed to go and be with my mom because it was getting close to the end. And I did not have to ask for time off. I hopped in that plane and I sat and I could hold her hand for the last 10 days of her life. You guys, you can't get that back. You can't get that, you know, like that was that to me right there in that moment. And I had my team encouraging me through that whole process. Don't worry, we've got it covered, you know. So how do I wrap this up? We are so blessed to be a part of a company that is solid. Their products work. The doctors, they are phenomenal, but not only that, they're best friends. My first convention, they came out and they greeted the thousands of women that were there. And when they were finished, they turned around and as they were walking off the stage, they grabbed each other's hand. And that had it for me. So that's my little 2 cents I have to share with you today. And Cindy's going to tell you about the amazing new enrollment package that we have offered for you right now.
Thank you, Leann. And you guys can see I'm smiling from ear to ear. And I just want to point this fact out. And Leann and you guys mentioned it, that these 4 ladies who shared today, I actually would not know outside of Rodan and Fields. And now they're some of my dearest friends, my coworkers I work with every day. Even though we're not in the same states, part of us, we're seeing each other's faces during COVID world that was crazy. We were encouraging each other, not just in our businesses, but in life. So it's just a pretty special thing that we have. So we're going to wrap up in the next 3 to 4 minutes. And so here's what I want you to do. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat at the bottom of the screen. And if I have time at the end, I will hit them. You can always ask whatever the consultant who invited you to today. Be sure and ask the questions of them, but I'm going to check the chat. And I just want to hit very briefly. So I mentioned in the beginning that there's a whole new process for consultant sign up. It's been amazing before. Again, I've been in this business for about 5 years and it's totally changed things for me and my family. But we just heard the news that it's been completely revamped as of the last week. And here are the important points that you need to know. Again, talk to the consultant who invited you, but it's a simple system. First thing that you need to know is that it only costs $75 to sign up as a consultant. There's a one way to sign up kind of process now. It's $75. And for that $75, what you're going to get is a whole kit of samples that you can use as conversation starters to start promoting your business to your network, to start talking about these awesome products that people really want to have. And I'm just telling you, these products really do sell themselves. You're also going to get all of the printed materials you need in that initial kit. So that is the deal. That's how you get in the gate as a consultant. And it's super simple. You could literally do that today. And you could have your first customer by tonight, by an hour later. So very simple. When you sign up as a consultant, the company has offered a couple of really incredible incentives that, again, are new to the scene and better than they've ever been before. The first thing is that they, in addition to the commissions and the profits that you earn from selling products, they've stacked up a bunch of bonuses in the first 4 months of your business. So you have an opportunity to earn up to $2,000 in bonuses in your first 4 months of business. That's in addition to your paycheck, on top of all of that. And we're seeing people who are joining our teams now being able to do this because we have an amazing supportive environment. We help each other succeed here. And we would coach you through the process of being able to hit those bonuses. The other huge perk that you have, we used to have enrollment kits, and they were preset groups of products, and they were heavily discounted, but you didn't get to choose what you wanted. Well, what we have done now, what the company has offered to us, is that when you sign up as a consultant, they're going to give to you a discount on products. It's a one-time use discount that you can use anytime in your first 90 days with the company. And whenever you use that, you're going to get up to $600 worth of products at 45 to 50% off, which is the biggest discount you'll ever get in this company. And it's a way to be able to load up your bag with that lash boost and that new regimen and that brow defining boost and all those fun things that you're wanting to try. The reason that's important is because this is a sharing business. Several ladies mentioned that. Really, as hard as it gets in this business is using amazing skincare, #1 in North America kind of skincare, and then telling people about it. So instead of me sharing about my favorite drink at Starbucks and never making a profit from that, now I get to use this amazing skincare that I never would have used otherwise, tell my friends and family about it, and that actually puts a paycheck into my bank account that makes a huge difference for all kinds of things. So that is it in a nutshell, sort of the process. And so I would just say, if you're interested, talk to the consultant who invited you. We're so thankful that all of you guys were here with us today, and I'm going to sign off now. Have a great rest of your work day. Bye, guys.